number 2 from the frequency tables notes. In number 2, we're given a blank table, excuse me, and we need to fill it out. So we have to read really carefully. It says we conduct a survey that asks 286 students in the freshman class whether they play a sport or a musical instrument. 118 of the students play a sport, and 64 of those play a musical instrument. So we're going to have to be really careful here with our numbers. The first thing I'm going to do is put 286 in our table. 286 is our total. That's how many students we talk to start. Okay, 286 total. It says 118 of the students play a sport. So I'm looking here. Sport, yes. 186 of them, that's going to be the total number. Or sorry, 118. Sorry, I got the 86 stuck in my brain there for a second. 118 play a sport, so that's the total sport, yes. And it says of those, 64 play a musical instrument. So they're going to be sport yes and musical instrument yes. So that's 64 is going to go in this cell right here. So we've used 286, we've used 118, we've used 64. 93 of the students do not play a sport or an instrument. So we're going no sport, no instrument, so it's going to be this cell right here. So that cell is 93. And that's the only information we're given. So we have to fill in this table based on these 4 numbers. Now it's like a little puzzle, and I think these aren't too bad. So what we do from here is some subtraction. So for the first thing here is that we can only find the information if we have 2 cells in a row here. So I have 64 and 118, that means I can find this cell. 64 plus some number equals 118. So to find that number, I'm going to do 118 minus 64. You absolutely don't have to do that in your head. That's 54. So we have 54 students in that cell. 54 students that yes play a sport, but do not play a musical instrument. Okay, the next number we can find, if we look at that row right there, we can total that column. Sorry, I meant column and not row. This column right here we can total because we have 54 and 93. So 54 plus 93 is 147. So that was 54 plus 93 to get that total. The other number that we can find here right now is this total column for your no sports. Here, let me get another color. The no sports total here for that row we can find by doing 286 minus 118. And that would give us 168. And now we have everything we need to find our last 2 cells. So we had the no sport and yes musical instrument right here. We can find that number by doing the total minus the number that we have there, 168 minus 93. 75. And that last one we can find by either totaling that column or you can subtract from the big total. I'm just going to total the column here. So I'm going to do 64 plus 75. It's 139. All right, so that's filling in based on numbers we're given. It's amazing. We were only given 4 numbers in that frequency table, and we were able to fill everything out. Now we're going to talk about some percentages. So the percentages are tricky. The percentage problems are probably the trickiest problems in this unit. And the thing to think about is the first description that you're given is going to be your denominator. The first thing you read in the problem for your fraction, that's going to be the number that goes on the bottom. So it says what percentage of students who play a sport, so sport, yes, is going to go on the bottom. And pretty much if you do that, if the first thing you read goes in the bottom of your fraction, you'll be pretty good. So sport, yes, also play an instrument. And it's not just sport, yes, it's our sport total here. So we're looking for our sport total. So yes to sports, and this can get kind of tricky because you have to look at the whole thing here. So our sport yes is here. The total there is 118. And then with that is the only thing that we're looking at in this whole table. Now that we narrowed it down here, now we want to say, okay, who also plays a musical instrument? So now we're looking at instrument, yes, is the number on top. So we want that sport total, and then we're only looking at that row. So to find that percent, we're going to do 64 divided by 118. And we get 0.54. And 0.54 we can make into 54% by moving that decimal 2 places to the right. All right, let's do another. What percentage of students who play an instrument? Okay, so now we're looking at our instrument total. Do not play a sport. Again, that first thing you read is going to be in the bottom of your fraction. Okay, I'm going to highlight here. We're going to be looking at a column. So we're going instrument total. So we're going yes to musical instrument. So the total for that column is 139. And then within that column, the no sport number is 75. And then we put that into the calculator. 75 over 139, 0.539. And that is 53.9%. All right. So now we're asked to construct a marginal frequency table. Remember the the joint relative frequency table and a marginal frequency table. So here, for this, what we're doing is doing those percentages. So now instead of just having our raw data, we're making their percentages. So we're going to do, for this first, yes sports, yes musical instrument, we're doing our number over our total. Oops, sorry. And then you're going to put all these numbers into your calculator. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and get those fractions written down, and also put those in your calculator. I will meet you there. So I'm going to do this with the video pause, and then you can check your work. So you need to pause the video as well and try. All right, so here is your new table with just the percentages in it. This table is really nice to have when you're asked for percentages, because now when you're asked the question like what percentage of students play both a sport and a musical instrument, you can go to the yes sport Yes, musical instrument column, and pick that number. 0.22 is 22%. If we're asked what percentage of students do not play a sport or a musical instrument, we're going to go to the no cell, and that's 0.33. That's 33%. All right. So I'm going to do another video for number 3, and so you can click off this one once you have all of that done and get that next.